Hi everyone, it's Lauren and welcome back. Today I have a channeled message for you, a message for the collective regarding chronic fatigue, which is interesting that it came in. I started connecting it with the energy from the spring equinox. So, if you can recall, the energy when the spring equinox came in, simultaneously, Pluto went into Aquarius that week. There was a new moon in Aries. So, really strong energy coming in that week. And so, you felt a lot of things happening internally, but on a physical level, the energy was very low. And normally, when we get to the spring season, we feel, really energetic and excited. Things are growing again, it's getting warmer. But that wasn't the case. So the spring equinox is like a marker. And now at the summer solstice right now, we're kind of at the next marker in the year. And so it's kind of like it's taking a temperature of the collective for, what's going on. And the message that's coming through is that many people are still experiencing this underlying chronic fatigue. Perhaps many people that are, right there, like on the brink of awakening. But people awaken alike are experiencing a lot of this fatigue as they're doing a lot of processing right now, or the things that they used to do before are feeling heavier than before. And the things that they used to use as coping mechanisms before for that fatigue are no longer working. So it's really coming to the surface because it wants to be healed at this time. So I'm going to share this message with you. It's also interesting because this week in June, I think maybe it was exact a couple days ago on the 22nd of June. So around this time, we're experiencing a trine between Mars and Chiron. So Mars is in Leo and Chiron is in Aries. Okay, so relating to the sense of self and who we are, like our major identity, we're working on that as a collective. And then the Mars energy is like how we use our life force energy and how we project it out in the world, and like how all of our, like, our internal, like, passions and desires, everything comes out into the world. So it's the expression of that life force energy out into the world. And in Leo, it really wants to, like, play and have fun and enjoy this time. But if that energy is being suppressed, then it can feel really heavy, and then we could not really experience the joy, the enjoyment, the ease that we want to during this transit. But there is a trine there, which means that there's a supportive aspect. That means that there's something in the outward energy that's wanting to be healed at this time. And I'm feeling that this is something that wants to be healed in the collective. So I'm going to share for you from my meditation this morning. And these are the notes that I took. And so the vision that I got was of like a darker valley, dark shades, all shadows, maybe dark purples, dark blues, in this valley. And it was like looking at the landscape of the collective subconscious. So for the collective, there's our conscious, as us as a whole, as a group, and there's also a subconscious. So it was like looking into the consciousness, the collective subconscious, and it just was a very dark. It looks like a place where not a supportive energy. So seeing that there was a lot of darkness there, and a lot of plugging into programs where we experience a lot of darkness and a lot of heaviness, then, which um, are evident in our waking life, in our conscious life. So from this space, there are so many distortions. And if you could view the inner landscape of your minds and that of the collective consciousness, you would encounter much darkness. And so this is not to condemn the darkness at all, but we know that with each night, a day has to follow, for it cannot always be night. And living from the subconscious realm in constant state of darkness leaves the conscious self in a continuous exertion of effort to bring in the light each day. And this is exhausting, hence the great level of adrenal fatigue and chronic fatigue that are amongst our people. The light is meant to naturally pour into our being. Each day, this is supposed to happen, and it's supposed to happen easily. And this is not something that we have to search for, but it's something that we only have to be open to in order to receive. So when the night comes, we are meant to rest and we're meant to surrender to the undercurrents of life and the things that we need to process in the background of our lives. And we do this on a level of mind, body, and spirit. So we do this in order to return to our original imprint. So we all go through this in mind and body. And so this process is a natural one. It occurs in each one of our days. However, many of us are experiencing a great level of distress in our rest and sleep states. And the conscious cycles are being controlled by a darker programming, where in our resting state we are giving in completely. It's like a complete give in and give up, because the spirit vehicle is weak. It's exhausted. It's disconnected. And so it doesn't have any resources to function from. So this allows the subconscious mind to really tap into darker programming that doesn't serve us. And so this is not the fault of the individual. It is the individual's responsibility, but it's not the fault of the individual, but of the collective of individuals, of humankind. Us as a humanity that have allowed a profound disconnection in our levels of consciousness. The average individual is not making efforts to connect their subconscious or their higher mind, nor are they modeled or given opportunities in their daily lives to practice a deeper level of awareness of self. On the contrary, modern life encourages the compartmentalization of self from other, and the conscious mind from the subconscious and the higher mind. And this disconnect is what leaves us in a state of disempowerment, as the conscious self feels like an isolated piece playing in the game of life. And so Source reveals to us that this disconnect is what greatly weakens the strength of the spirit. And in consequence, proper rest and proper renewal that are meant to happen during our night cycle are not available fully to the mind-body complex. And our system is becoming further dysregulated during our waking state by our conscious mindset and our conscious lifestyle choices and the perception of mental and emotional stress and the allowing of stress and the handling of stress, and allowing it to enter, our physical vehicle through negative emotions and through negative thought forms, lower vibrational foods and water, relationships, and the perpetual disruptive electromagnetic frequencies from technology. So all of these things are things that we do on a conscious level that we know that can disrupt our system and not allow it to perceive the day and the night properly and have the proper rest and go into that proper state of renewal at night. And this is what is causing a great damage to the inner landscape. If you could see your subconscious mind as if there was just this very broad landscape. And so this is happening in the majority of the people in the modern world right now, experiencing on some level a fatigue that doesn't let up. And so the repair is really a natural process, but this is one that only occurs when the vessel is allowed to properly rest. So one can only rest fully when they reconnect with themselves by joining their minds. So joining the conscious mind with the subconscious mind, the conscious mind with the higher mind. Connecting with the subconscious landscape is what allows an individual to clear out programming that is false and that is faulty and reestablish the original template from within. This is a practice of deep reflection and discovery on a consistent basis. So this means that showing up for ourselves and doing the deeper work, doing the shadow work in a consistent way. This is a practice of deep reflection and discovery, and then over time, the individual will begin to see, because the work that you're doing on a subconscious level, encountering programming, disempowering programming or beliefs. It's like cleaning up and clearing out and then reprogramming the system. Once the system starts functioning at a greater capacity, a more healthy capacity, that's when our bodies can truly go through the rest cycle in the way that we need to on the level of mind and body and spirit. So the individual will see, by doing this shadow work, we'll see improvements in physical sleep, also in a quieter quality of presence during rest times. So when we're resting throughout the day as well, there'll be more presence in that rest. Not just a zoning out, tuning off, tuning out. Also the neutralizing of the stress responses in our lives. So reacting in a more neutral way to things that are, commonly stressful to us. And engaging in increasing practices of mindful thought and activity throughout our days. So we'll also experience a desire for more sources of nourishment in different ways. So nourishment in terms of food, nourishment in relationships, nourishment in terms of information that we are taking in, ones that are going to support a healthier vehicle. And so these are noticeable, measurable markers of healing that's being allowed. This is from allowing that space for the mind to rest properly during its dark cycle, during its sleep cycle. And what I was seeing in that vision was really just like a space where someone would just feel weighed down and tormented from the things that are in their subconscious mind. So it's releasing of that hold, of that power, that control, that torment that comes from the false illusions of the mind. And it also has to do with when we're in that subconscious state sleeping, we have a lower, physical energy during that time because we're in a sleep state. Whatever lower energy that we do have during that time, it's like if we don't have a proper command of our vehicle, then that energy is being siphoned. It's going other places. It's tuning into other programming. So it's also our physical energy, whatever little energy that we do have physically during the sleep cycle is being siphoned away. And this is out of a state of surrender because it's like a lack of command of the mind, the body, and the spirit. And this is just due to being completely drained out, overwhelmed, feeling hopelessness, feeling confusion. And because of the body's renewed ability to rest, it's then restoring itself naturally, and simply just due to the fact that the connection has been reestablished and reestablished in the way that it's meant to, the way that we're meant to experience connection with our, deeper thoughts and beliefs and feelings and our past memories as well. Everything that's in the subconscious, it's like we're establishing a healthy connection. It's like a new healthy relationship that we're establishing in our lives. And so another message that came through is sources also encouraging us. This is one part is the subconscious mind that will help in healing chronic fatigue. And the other one is in connecting with the higher mind, connecting with the higher self. If you connect with guides or whatever form of spirituality that you have, connecting with the higher realms that are always available to us, because this is necessary right now to reflect a higher level of truth from the Creator, and reflect this back to us by connecting in with the higher mind. So the higher mind and the higher self is really important in this equation of healing this fatigue, because not only does this energy have to be restored, but it also has to be revitalized, and revitalized with purpose. So there's a difference between using our energy on a daily basis and then, just going about the motions of each day. And then there's utilizing our energy for a higher purpose. And when we're using our energy and using our life force, that can completely drain us when our daily thoughts and our actions and what we're choosing to do with our life, our general direction of our life, are out of alignment with our soul and our soul's purpose, our soul mission, why we are here. So when we're out of alignment, the things that we do each day, they feel draining. Each individual came to Earth with a divine assignment, a higher purpose that can only be discovered by connecting to the higher structures of the universe. And when we connect into the higher mind, the higher self, we have the opportunity to observe life and to observe existence from a perspective that cannot be seen on Earth until we connect in and we bring it down. So bringing it down here on Earth, we make it part of our experience. We make it part of who we are. So a large part of this process of healing chronic fatigue is just removing the label of chronic, removing the whole label of fatigue, and removing ourselves from that category, that state of illness, in saying, I have this, this is my condition that I have. It's like taking ownership and taking it on when it's not ours to take on, because it's not the truth of who we are, the truth of our being. So it's removing these labels, removing these things that are false, and then stepping into sovereignty, stepping into authority, having command of the mind, the body, and the spirit. Being clear with our intentions of who we are, being clear with our existence, being intentional with our existence. Because it's all about what we do and what we allow, what we permit within our sphere. There are laws of the universe, and one of those laws is that we cannot infringe upon the free will of another being. And when we are plugged into these certain programs, it's because we have given up our free will in the circumstance, or we have decided on whatever level to be part of this program. And so the free will is what we allow and do not allow on a conscious level, but it's also reflective of what we allow and don't allow on a subconscious level. Because the majority of our experience, what we experience on a day-to-day, is reflective of the thoughts, the beliefs that exist in our subconscious mind, our subconscious programming. So from these levels of mind, our internal coding, that's how we experience our reality. But we also do so, right? This creates like a frequency. And our frequency determines what we're attracting into our life, like what we're putting out and then what we're attracting in. Because a person can desire to lead a vibrant and a healthy lifestyle that's full of energy and enthusiasm. And this is all on a conscious level. But if your subconscious mind wants you to slow down by way of fatigue, it will find a way. Somehow something needed to come in to slow you down, because it wants you, perhaps on a subconscious level, to address the disempowering beliefs that are underneath the surface. So the symptoms, the fatigue is something you're feeling there on the surface, but underneath there's something that your subconscious mind that is exhausted with and doesn't want to deal with anymore. It's bringing this up to the surface through physical symptoms in order for you to draw your attention back inwards. So it's to address any kind of disempowering beliefs that you have underneath the surface. So it's creating basically a pathway for your healing through illness, through chronic fatigue. And on the other end, if your higher mind, for example, sees you going in one direction, in the wrong direction, with all of your might, you're just going full force into something, which it could be like a career, it could be a relationship, maybe it could be a place that you want to live. And if it's really not aligned with your being, then sooner or later, you'll be forced to stop. And illness is one thing that causes us to stop, simply because we have no energy left. And when we have no energy left, in order for us to just sit and to connect with, the higher versions of ourselves and really get in tune with what does our higher self want? What are we meant to do? What is our soul purpose? What is our mission here? What is the direction that I need to go in right now to fulfill that? That takes stillness, and that takes time, and that takes contemplation. If we haven't given those things enough mind in our lives, and something will come along that will surely slow us down. So it really wants us it causes this stop in energy by completely exhausting our physical energy, resources, so that we can stop and sit and contemplate the higher version of ourselves, because it wants us to step into our power. It wants us to step into our purpose. And it wants us to go into a different direction. The way that the higher mind and the subconscious mind work doesn't really make sense, within this realm. Doesn't make sense here how things play out. But when we look from a higher perspective, or when we go into the subconscious mind and we clear out and see like things that we were believing about ourselves that are not true, we can understand where they came from, but we don't need them anymore. That's where we can clear things out and then move into a place of greater empowerment. So that was the message for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. And if chronic fatigue is something that you are dealing with in your life right now, like I said, this is a theme for a collective, but there's a lot of energy here and now for it to be healed. And that's by connecting in with their subconscious mind and connecting in with the higher mind. And so this is something that I work with my clients in hypnotherapy. If this is something that interests you, I'll leave a link in the description to reach out to me and connect and see possible ways that we can work together. Um, this is something that personally I have worked through in the past. I have fatigue that was entering my life for a long time in order for me to sit still and really clear out some core beliefs that were not assisting me along my journey. And this has made all the difference in in my energy field. So from experience. I know that this message makes a lot of sense. So if this is something that you're interested in exploring, then please feel free to reach out and enjoy wherever you are, whatever time of day it is. Enjoy your day, and I look forward to connecting soon.